Here we go. Joyce, the taller man. Both of them with that quality left-hand lead. Will Dubois do as many people predict and just go in there looking for the big early punch, or will it be more of a chess match?
Well, Joyce has got the slight advantage in terms of reach, a couple of inches more than Dubois, but Dubois seems to have a better jab. I think that's the general view of most people, that Dubois' jab is very good indeed, it's accurate. But what will Joyce do here? Will he just keep coming forward, or will he tend to box at range and try and out-jab Dubois? Interesting stuff.
Wouldn't be a surprise if they just take a look at each other in these early seconds. Dubois, the Olympic silver medalist. Sorry, Joyce, the Olympic silver medalist. Dubois, the man who has learnt it all as a professional.
I think what's important for Joyce here, John, early, he's got to land that jab against Daniel, because he's taking a few risks coming forward here, is Joyce. Most people thought this is how Joyce was going to box anywhere on that front foot, but that's the whole reason why Daniel Dubois has a better chance to land in that right hand as Joyce is coming forward. So he's got to be careful, and if he works with his jab, Joyce, he's got to hit the target. He can't afford to miss and fall in.
Joyce doing okay in the early stages of this first round. There's a better jab from Dubois. Heard, I think, the voice of his sister Caroline shouting out from somewhere on the balcony, urging Daniel Dubois on. A little bit of reddening around the face of Dubois already from the accuracy of this left-hand lead of Joyce, who's making a good start.
Yeah, he's boxing well at range at the moment, is Joyce. And that jab to the body is a good shot also. So Dubois just can't get that 1-2 going just yet. And you see, that's a slight mistake. Gets away with it there, does Joyce. And Dubois now sensing he's probably losing the round slightly, and so starts to come forward, trying to land that right hand.
Fascinating open round. And Joyce going well so far. Dubois maybe just waiting for Joyce to commit himself to have the opportunity to land that big right hand. He's not really established his jab as well as you might have expected so far, Richie.
No, it's clever boxing from Joyce at the moment. He's boxing at distance. He's not coming over the front foot too often, you see, John. And that's limiting Dubois' chances of landing the big right hand. That's a good round for Joyce.
Well, a fascinating opening round, which surely goes to Joyce.
When you're following the game live, do it from the best seat in the house. In play from Sky Bet. That's betting better.
Welcome back to Church House in Westminster. The big fight is underway. We've had the first round, and I thought it was a good one for Joyce, Richie Woodall.
Oh, I agree, yeah. I think it was slightly better work from Joyce. I thought he worked well with the jab. Didn't make as many mistakes. And yeah, for me, he's just got that round.
Fascinating. Joyce with the early advantage, and now Dubois comes forward trying to land bigger shots and trying to impose himself maybe physically in this second round.
Yeah, his corner have said, haven't they, most certainly to get closer to Joyce and put him under a little bit of pressure. That's what they've told Daniel Dubois there. It's a faster start to the round for Dubois.
He was certainly very respectful with his approach in the opening 3 minutes. And Joyce's tactics were able to give him the edge. That's a good right hand from Dubois.
Yeah, maybe he's shown a few nerves as well in that opening round, Daniel Dubois. But he's certainly, whatever they've said to him in the corner, he's responded well here. He's upped the work rate a little bit, and he's getting to Joyce a little bit now. How will Joyce react to this now, John?
More purposeful look to Daniel Dubois in the first minute of this second round. No real power shots landed from either man so far. It's been a tactical battle thus far. Joyce just trying to take the rhythm out of Dubois with that left-hand lead.
Well, he started the round better, did Dubois, and that's a better right hand. Just as I said, he's taking his foot off the gas, then he lands a good shot. First real good shot on Joyce there.
Referee hadn't said break, and Joyce trying to tie him up, and Dubois was in his right to land big shots when they appeared to be clinching, and now these are the first dangerous moments for Joyce.
Yeah, good right hand from Daniel Dubois. Found his range with it. It's when he just takes his foot off the gas and allows then Joyce to come back with those jabs, those peppering jabs, that he may have a few problems, but a good round up to now for Daniel Dubois. He's reacted to his corner most definitely, brought his right hand into play, and they'll be a little bit more pleased.
Looking again for that big chopping right hand, this time just went through thin air. Joyce is not a quick man. He's being urged forward, Dubois, by his corner. They feel that he's really on top here, and Dubois lands with another solid right hand. This time it's Joyce who wants to backpedal.
Yeah, Joyce is just concentrating on keeping the gap now, and that's why he's just moving away and throwing that jab. He knows if he goes forward, if he misses, if he walks onto that right hand from Dubois, it doubles the power up. That's why he's on the outside, just trying to take the sting out of the punch. There was an example there.
Managed to get his gloves up just in time, Joyce, and take the power out of that right hand. Last few seconds, couple of shots to the head from Joyce, but that was a much better round for Dubois, who landed by far the bigger shots.
Yeah, much better round for Dubois. It's one apiece now for me. Here's the right hand there, chopping right hand. That was a mistake from Joyce, misses the target and then gets caught, and then Dubois then follows up a couple of good shots to the body, and this was a positive response from Daniel Dubois. Look, so there's that left hand to the body from Joyce, doesn't hit the target, it's a little bit slow, and Dubois comes back with that right hand. Good round for Dubois.
That was a good round. I want another round like that. Got it? Yeah? Yeah. Take time. Breathe. Now you go and get it. Go on, away you go.
Trying to keep him settled down. One round apiece. Richie's got it at this point as we move into the third. Fireworks are going to come, you can be sure. There's a good right hand from Dubois. He's looking for him now, and another. And Joyce is having to cover up. He's caught by a left hand to the head as well, and the power shots are starting to come in here from Dubois. Martin Bowers said the biggest of oak trees will come if you keep peppering it with chopping blows, and that is what Dubois has been able to do.
Yeah, tremendous stuff, but now he needs a little bit of a rest, so he's exerted a lot of energy there, has Dubois, and he hasn't chopped the tree down, so to speak. Joyce is still there, so it was a little bit of a gamble, but yes, he went for it there. A couple of big shots.
Good jab from Joyce that time. Fascinating fight, and whoever you fancy, you're still going to be thinking your man has got a great chance. Perceived wisdom was that the further this fight went, the more you'd fancy Joyce.
Yeah, I think Dubois has got to move his head just a little bit more. There's reddening on his face. Those are the jabs from Joyce.
That was coming in the first round.
Yeah, but it's the straight 1-2 from Dubois that's causing the big problems for Joyce, especially when he quickens his feet up, moves into range, then throws it with a lot of venom, that combination.
Joyce with the fantastic amateur pedigree. Daniel Dubois had virtually none as a senior amateur, although he has been fighting and training since a very early age. Learnt as a professional, just blowing a bit heavily in there in this third round. He put a lot into that opening stanza.
Yeah, he really went for it, didn't he? And he's feeling the pace a little bit. And Joyce just clawing back a bit with those jabs.
And he's not called Juggernaut for no reason. He's a big man who just keeps on coming. Dubois telegraphing that right hand a little, and that's a better jab from Dubois. Needs more of those. That ramrod left lead he thought was going to be a big weapon to his advantage. He's not really made it tell, apart from at moments in that second round.
No, he's got a great jab as Dubois, but it's Joyce that's producing the jabs. To be quite honest, it's the right hand counters and the right hand in the attacks with the 1-2 from Dubois. Dubois had his best punches.
Dubois had that flurry at the beginning of this third round, but Joyce has been stronger. But now a couple of decent headshots from Dubois, with the clock ticking down to end this third round. Well, good round. And a good round in the latter stages for Joyce. Richie scoring that one level. It's a difficult one to score, that.
Is that round 3? Yeah. Listen, he has to take a break that round because he tried to fucking get you.
Apologies for the language if you're offended by that, but I'm sure you can recognise huge amount at stake.
Get out to your right and get around. Can't deal with you going to...
Yeah, I think it was a case here, John, of Dubois going for it. Landed a couple of good shots, didn't he? Looked right uppercut there, another right hand, but we know how tough Joyce is, and he had to show his toughness here. He comes through this storm, and then towards the end of the round, that was a little bit low from Dubois. There's that left hook. It was a good attack from Dubois. It was early on in the round. He really went for it, but Joyce come through it, and then he peppered him with the jab, so that's why I gave it an even round. He came back.
Joyce really came back strongly in the middle stages of the round, showed that renowned strength and power as we move now into the fourth. And on Richie's card, this fight absolutely level. 1 round each with 1 level. I think there's an argument that Joyce could have edged that last round, but who knows? 3 judges, they're the ones who will determine it, if it goes the distance, and that is a sizable if.
Most Dubois fans will be hoping and thinking that he will win this contest within 4 or 5 rounds. I think most people think that if it goes over that, then Joyce has a better chance of victory. It's not a foregone conclusion, because we know Daniel, he's been 10 rounds before against Kevin Johnson. You know, he has improved in his stamina, but most people think that if it goes over 5, then the tide will turn for Joyce.
Only just off target with that right uppercut, Dubois. The power is in that right hand of Daniel Dubois, Triple D. That time it was blocked by Joyce, but the left thudded into the solar plexus. That's good from Joyce, doubling up on that left-hand lead, and a bit more head movement than they sometimes associate him with.
Yeah, he just made a mistake there. Just launched from too far away with that right hand. Joyce just fell short. Just falls into Daniel Dubois. But Daniel's probably surprised at how accurate that Joyce jab is and how frequent it is. It's always in his face. He's out jabbing Dubois, who has a terrific jab himself. But on this occasion, the jabs are coming from Joyce.
Well, it's a big weapon for Dubois, and it's being taken away from him right now by Joyce. Good accuracy from range from the big man from Putney. Plenty of support for both men in this arena here, set in the historic church house in Westminster. And you can really hear the power of the punches as well as they thud home. Big night for Ian John Lewis, the referee.
Yeah, and another close round this is, John. It really is. Dubois seems to be doing well with the 1-2s when he's throwing them, but again, Joyce just picking up the points. See, that one missed there, but he's picking up the points, Joyce, with these jabs. There's another one.
Daniel Dubois' face is definitely starting to mark up a bit. and that's a testimony to the accuracy of the jab. Good right hand taken well by Joyce, and as he goes back to the corner, you can see the face of Daniel Dubois is really marking up.
This season football's going to be different, but I'm an optimist. Fake crowd noise. The Emirates never sounded so good. Penalties handed out to large groups. And United, this might be the new normal, where football doesn't change for anyone, and we can say, we were there!
But you won't be?
Yeah.
Stadiums may be empty, but we're still full of generous offers. If one leg of your ACCA lets you down, get your money back as a free bet on all football matches and markets. The ACCA Cracker from Paddy Power.
This is a bad time for Daniel Dubois. Swelling around the left eye, the mouth is a little bit bust up, and he's almost shaking in that corner, Richie. And it looked to me like a little bit of shock at the sort of the power and the accuracy that Joyce is able to produce.
Yeah, he knows he's in a real fight here, and he's been out jabbed at the moment. And as I say that, then he starts to land a couple of good jabs of his own.
Referee a little bit worried, I think. What are we worried about here? Too much fluid, too much fluid on the floor.
Yeah, bit of water in the corner.
I am the referee, as Ian John Lewis says, and he's now happy, so we're underway again. That's better from Dubois. Good jab, followed by the overhand right.
And his eye, it's not closing, but there's a little bit of swelling on that left eye of Dubois. John, and he's starting to find that right hand again now. I think he's timing that shot better, especially when Joyce is throwing the jab.
Jimmy Tibbs acting as the cutsman in that corner, vastly experienced. That's in the Joyce corner, and of course we've got Martin Bowers in Daniel Dubois' corner. And it's there that the greatest damage is having to be dealt with.
I think Dubois starting to use his jab better now, John. He's trying to just time it and make Joyce just fall short with his jab and then come back with fast counters. But he's certainly doing more work with the lead hand now, Dubois, and that should set up that right hand.
Lovely fast left-hand lead from Dubois, and this now has the makings of a very good fight indeed. A long way still to go. Dubois having to dig deep after Joyce has had the advantage in the early exchanges of this fight. And that is not how many people thought it was going to be.
No, you're right there, John, but there, good work again from Daniel Dubois. He's being more accurate now with his jab. Both are feeling the pace a little bit.
He's really having to dig in here and bite on his gum shield, Dubois. More anxious times in these first 4 rounds than in the whole of his career. The Joyce camp were saying that this fight had come too soon for Daniel Dubois. He should have had a Bryant Jennings or somebody of that sort before going to fight somebody of Joe Joyce's stature. That's better from Dubois.
Yeah, he's having a better round here. Dubois is beating Joe Joyce to the punch. On a lot of occasions, cracking right hand there from Dubois.
And testing Joe Joyce's chin. This is a really good round it's turning into for Dubois after a very shaky fourth. And Dubois just wanting to tie him up. And Daniel Dubois, you can see that swelling of the left eye, but he's had a good round.
Good round indeed, big shots going in. But good round for Daniel Dubois.
Well, let's have a listen into the corner.
Right, this is the fight game, Dan. You're in it now. Got it? Breathe. Got it? Nice breathing. Come on. That was the best round you did. Come on. Can you do that? Right. Right, now, I'm going to ask you again. Keep your composure and bend. When you go in the walls in, don't go fuck bollocks. You short. Right. Got it? Right. Come on, stay with me there. Got this?
Once again, if there's
good.
any
Yeah, got your composure.
language in the corner, our apologies
Good.
for
Come on,
that.
show
We
me
have to make
got
that
it?
apology.
Come on. Right. Cheers, on. Right. now. What a class round out you again. That's gone.
Apologies for some of the language you might have heard, but this is such a tense fight, so much on the line, and it is absolutely on a knife edge here as we move now into the 6th round. Key moments in the fight, Richie. Who's going to establish dominance now? Dubois put a lot into that last round.
Yes, he did, and again, he's starting this round very positively on that front foot and trying to land that right hand over the top.
I love that line from Martin Bowers in that corner when he said, "This is the fight game," right?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, Martin Bowers very experienced, so he's just reminding Daniel Dubois that this is it.
Good little right-hand counter inside from Joyce there in that exchange. Joyce is using that long reach well. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage and he's making it count.
Daniel Dubois, again, when he lands that right hand, John, just dips his head, just slips to the left with his head and then whips that right hand over. That's a good shot again from Dubois.
Joyce's chin being tested and he takes it though.
Just holding on there. Clever Joyce, took a good shot.
Absolutely level on Richie's scorecard. And we're coming up to the halfway stage of the fight. Is it going to be the fitness and engine and experience of Joe Joyce which is going to prevail? Daniel Dubois is having to eat so many of those jabs.
He's boxing well at range here, Joe Joyce. I think Dubois again, he's slowed his feet down. He's got to quicken his feet up. He's got to close that gap.
And again, that left eye begins to swell more. I wonder how much of a factor that could turn out to be the further the fight goes. The left eye of Daniel Dubois. Good shot from Dubois, nice right hand.
Yeah, a little bit of movement to the side again and finds the target with that right hand, a quality punch.
Referee trying to let the action flow, just telling them to stop holding, letting them fight away out of the clinch without calling break. Well, another interesting round, this one, and not a lot between them. Good from range for Joyce. Dubois with 1 or 2 quality power shots, but look at the damage to that left eye, Richie.
Yeah, a lot of damage there, but I thought he actually took the round. I thought the quality work came from Daniel.
Don't put your hands down. Got it? Put your hands down. Do not put your hands down. Come on. Now dig in now.
Trying to rev him up. You hear him say, dig in. There's one of the quality right hands.
Yeah, a good shot there from Dubois as they came away from the clinch. So he's just making the mistake of just dropping his hands a little as they broke, and Dubois catches him. There's Dubois leaning to the left, as I said before, that little slip, and then whips that right hand over the top.
Like a little bit of shock at the sort of the power and the accuracy that Joe Joyce is able to produce.
Yeah, he knows he's in a real fight here, and he's being out jabbed at the moment. And as
there's the Dubois family watching on. They want a big round. A lot of these rounds have been close. Daniel Dubois with the DDD around his waist. Good right hand again from Dubois. And Joyce walked straight into that. It caught him pretty flush. And an uppercut. And now comes the big toe-to-toe exchange.
yeah, tremendous work there from Dubois. But will he let Joe Joyce off the hook again? Joe Joyce is teak tough. He comes through it. And you see Daniel, he's exerted a lot of energy again. Will this build up, John, where, you know, he's going to tire himself out? He goes for it. He lands big shots, but he doesn't get the job finished.
Well, he was told to go out there and produce a big round. It was needed, and when he lands those shots, the opponents he's had so far in his career have usually crumbled. Not Joe Joyce. Another good combination from Dubois, who's really producing something here. It's a tremendous effort from the champion.
Looking for that right hand again. Joyce has got to keep moving round to his right, away from that right hand of Dubois. Dubois tends to move to his left and slips to the left and then whips the right hand over. Joyce has got to move away from it, John. Got to keep going around to his right.
Tell you what though, Richie, it's reaching the point here. Well, Daniel Dubois' vision is surely beginning to be affected by that swollen left eye.
Yeah, he's producing the better shots, the quality work. The eye-catching stuff is from Dubois. But in between that volume, little jabs here and there, poking in his face from Joyce. And as I say that, Dubois lands a cracking jab.
It's still open for both men, and that's a good combination from Joyce this time. Right hand finding the target towards that damaged left eye. Did Dubois see it, I wonder? This has been a huge effort from Daniel Dubois here in this round.
Big round. Fitness is going to play a real big part here, John. If he knocks Joe Joyce out, okay, but if Joe Joyce keeps coming through these storms, then towards the end of the contest, he's never been 12 rounds, remember, Daniel Dubois. But he's won this round. This has been a quality round for him.
But he's not got him out of there. He's landed big shots and landed them flush, and Joe Joyce is still in there, spearing him with that left-hand lead. Last few seconds of another dramatic round, and a round which I'm sure you're going to say that Daniel Dubois has won, Richie.
Yeah, Daniel Dubois won that round, John. Good round, quality work from him, and they'll be pleased in that corner with that round.
Let's look again at some of the drama from that round.
The Joyce coming forward. Daniel there just timed the right hand lovely, didn't he? Just dips his head to the side, waits for Joyce to come forward, and there, that was an excellent example of a good crisp jab from Dubois.
Right.
Nice breathing. Come on, finish it.
That is a mess, that left eye.
He's going to take this off us. Got me? Is he going to take it off? What the fuck is he going to... Come on, work too hard for this, too long. Got me? Yeah. You've got to be fucking... Raise the focus, yeah? Raise the focus.
You'll have your idea at home. This is how we've got it here at ringside. That's how Rich is scoring it at the moment in Daniel Dubois' favour. Here in the 8th round. 12-rounder, of course, with British, Commonwealth and the vacant European titles at stake. Somehow it feels like more than that's at stake.
Yeah, it's a proper British, Commonwealth, European title fight. I remember being brought up on them as a kid, watching the Wednesday night sports nights, Harry Carpenter days, these type of contests.
Ian John Lewis not happy at some of the work that Daniel Dubois was producing there. Dubois jabbing so much more effectively than he was early on.
Yeah, he's having to really work, isn't he now, Dubois? Just to keep Joe Joyce off balance, if anything.
Younger man by 12 years, Daniel Dubois.
Nice little shot, sharp, short right hand from Joe Joyce there.
Fireworks from either side could still be decisive. Is the fight going to, against all expectations, go the distance? The 8th round from here on. Most people were thinking this could be Joe Joyce territory. On Richie's card, he's trailing, so he needs a big finish to the fight. And for the second time in the round, Dubois told off about illegal tactics.
Yeah, just a low shot again, little left hook downstairs, but it was low. Ian John Lewis doing a good job there, telling Dubois to cut it out. And again, probably the more work, the volume's coming from Joyce again. But it's what you prefer. You prefer those quality shots.
Just wonder if Dubois maybe taken his foot off the gas a bit in this round, having put so much into the last.
Yeah, he's just been outworked a little bit here.
Joe Joyce just keeps plugging away. It's a good jab from Dubois, and the right hand to follow up. Good round, both men having their moments and both landing big shots right up to the bell. Hard one to score.
I thought this was a better round for Joe Joyce, to be quite honest. I thought he outworked Daniel in this round. There's some eye-catching stuff from Dubois, but probably not enough of it. A little short 1-2 there from Joyce, who's boxing well at range. Volume's coming from Joe, the quality shots, the eye-catching stuff's coming from Dubois. But I just thought he was outworked there, so for me, Joyce narrows the gap.
You okay? What round is this next one? Don't give him any target area.
That is agony for Daniel Dubois between rounds every time as they try to work away on that swelling, and Richie's got it by just 1 point in favour of Daniel Dubois. And I tell you what, that third round which Richie scored level, who knows, it might be that it is absolutely dead level at this point. Joyce still up on his toes and still looking as though he's got plenty in the tank. Good jab.
Well, I said in the pre-fight program that we did yesterday that if Joyce is going to win this contest, he's got to do things differently. He's got to revert back to that in and out stuff, and that's what he's done tonight. He's boxed quite clever, I think, Joyce, on the outside. Most people thought he was just going to march forward, but you know, he hasn't won an Olympic silver medal for nothing. He has got a good boxing brain, and he's used it tonight. He's boxing at distance, and yes, I think Dubois is still very dangerous. But he's done what his opponent didn't think he was going to do. He stayed at range.
Good jabs by Joyce. Boxing well here in this 9th round. The Olympic silver medalist, who to many people's eyes who watched that Olympic final in Rio, he was very unlucky not to come away with the gold.
Yeah, absolutely. I commentated on it. Desperately unlucky.
Is it going to be his night? Dubois has given an awful lot. And you can see, just looking at the two men, who has taken the more damaging shots.
Pace has just slowed a little bit in this round. That's probably suiting Dubois, if anything. I think Joe Joyce himself has just took his foot off the gas slightly. And that's probably favoured Daniel Dubois. As I say that, nice 1-2 from Joyce.
Doing a lot though, Dubois, is he? Waiting for Joyce to commit himself, looking for the opportunity to launch one of those big overhand right hands, maybe.
Again, though, Joyce moving to his right, he's moving away from the shot. There, as I speak, then he just takes the sting out of that because he's moving away. His movement is better, you see. Obviously, he risks walking onto a left hook, but Daniel hasn't really thrown that. He hasn't threatened with that shot. It's the right hand that he's really looking for. So with Joyce moving to the right, he's moving away from it, and it's just taking the sting out of it, John.
It's a better left-hand lead from Dubois that time. But here comes Joyce again, fighting for the full 3 minutes of the round, right the way up to the bell, and finishing strongly, and Dubois absorbing some punishing shots in the last few seconds of that round. And you saw there Joyce looking to the Dubois corner, holding up his arm as much as to say, what do you think now? This is reality.
Indeed, that was a good round, I thought, for Joyce there.
Keep doing those same things. When you're edging him back with your feet got to be underneath you. You're 3 rounds away from winning this. You keep your composure and don't let him just try to get into this fight. Got me? Come down. Got it? Oh? 9 minutes of concentration and nothing stupid, and this is your fucking...
Apologies for the language once more in the Joyce corner. But he is indeed just 3 rounds away. And on Rich's card now, absolutely level. And I tell you what, I've got it just edging to Joyce. It is that sort of fight. It is very close. But Joyce looks the stronger and looks the more sprightly as we enter the 10th.
I think Dubois has got to work a little bit harder, John. Yes, there are flashes of what he can do, and we all know that the power he's got, but he's probably not working hard enough, and he's just being outworked a little bit. Oh dear, it's the left eye, and he's gone down. He's gone down with a jab right on that damaged left eye, and down he goes, and it could be that it's all over right here. He's had enough, he doesn't want any more, and Joyce, by stoppage, is the new British, Commonwealth and European champion. We asked whether that damaged left eye was going to be a decisive factor for Daniel Dubois, and so it proved. Joyce, with the accuracy of the left-hand lead, has bossed this fight in the closing stages. After round 6, he came on strong, and Joyce is the man who has those big opportunities, maybe next year. Unbelievable. I can't believe what I've just witnessed there. The way he went down, obviously, I think it was from a shot where it just, look at his eyes completely closed. Did it close literally as that shot was landed and he couldn't see out of it and thought, I just can't see my opponent? That must have been the situation there.
I think it was extraordinary. I think it was just a left-hand lead.
So there, look, he gets one in the eye. Now he can't see. He goes down and takes the counter, doesn't get up. But look at it here. It looks like it's closed there. But that was a shot that was banged on the button. That was banged on that eye. And he looks up, doesn't seem to be able to see Joyce, turns away, and goes onto the knee. Let's have a look at it again from here, John. It's right on the eye, isn't it, that shot? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Ian John Lewis counts him out, looks into his eyes. It's all over.
Joyce did his trademark celebratory vault, and his supporters, there's a few of them, his family members up on the balcony, are going absolutely bonkers. Here's the celebratory flip, and the big underdog. He was 3-1 against winning this. Didn't look like it.
No, but he's boxed a clever contest, hasn't he, Joyce? Everyone thought he was just going to walk forward. For most of this contest, he stayed on the outside and just peppered him with the jab, and he's boxed very, very clever. But that's probably where his Olympic pedigree comes into it as well. He has got a good boxing brain, and he's used it. But it was very close. So didn't have it even Steven. So it was a very, very close fight. But the general consensus was that if it went over 4 or 5 rounds, then the tide would turn and it would be for Joyce. But that's just an extraordinary ending, the way it's ended there, John.
It was a wee bit longer than that, wasn't it? It was kind of after about the 7th that it was all Joyce from there. He couldn't see properly. The tank was increasingly looking as though it was pretty much empty with Daniel Dubois, and Joyce just kept on coming as he promised he would. And he said to him, you are going to have to respect your elders. and he certainly does now.
Yeah, unbelievable, and a good performance. And Dubois, you know, Dubois is young. He's gonna come again. And I'm sure that if he hadn't got that injury, of course, he would have just continued. But if you can't see out of that eye, then, you know, it was inevitable that he had to call it a day.
He's going to be bitterly disappointed. There were points early in the fight where he was almost shaking, almost with shock in the corner at what was coming at him from Joe Joyce, and also the fact that he was landing the big shots and they weren't putting him away.
Well, 2 or 3 times he really went for it, didn't he, as if he tried to knock Joe Joyce out, but Joe Joyce weathered the storm every time. And then Dubois, after he exerted so much energy, he stepped back, he had a look, he thought, this guy is still there, and maybe the doubts were then creeping into his mind. I don't know, but whatever. At the end there, he just didn't want to continue, and that might be a little bit alarming for some people to see that. But you know, when you got one eye closed and you've got a man like Joe Joyce in front of you, you know, can you blame him?
Well, had that not happened, it had almost reached the stage where you'd be wondering whether or not the referee was going to step in to stop it, because when you can't see, there is a danger, of course, of serious damage happening. So it is victory for Joe Joyce, and here is Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 36 seconds of round number 10. Our referee in charge, Ian John Lewis, reaches the count of 10. Therefore, your winner by way of count out. And now the new British, Commonwealth, and European heavyweight champion, Joe the Juggernaut Joyce.
Fair play. He came here at 35 and produced the performance of his life. Bitter disappointment for Daniel Dubois. He can perhaps come again, he surely will, but for Joe Joyce, 2021 looks very, very exciting indeed. And here's the moment he said would be his. He said, I'm going to get those belts, and I am going to show that I am number one and that I am better than Daniel Dubois, and that tonight is what he's done.
And all the title belts are his in only his 12th professional fight. But David Hay, after 5 rounds of that, Martin Bowers in the corner to Daniel Dubois. Daniel, this is the fight game. And is what we've seen tonight, David, the man with more know-how in the fight game coming through and prevailing?
It's the, you know, experience goes a long way in this game, and going to the Olympics, going to the European Amateur Championships, going to the Commonwealth, and winning golds in these tournaments or silvers, you're fighting the best in the world, so you're tried and tested. You know, people test out your chin, they test your body out. I hadn't seen anything from Dubois to suggest that he had any business being in there with Joe, other than a tremendous record and a big knockout reel. We saw tonight that he wasn't ready for that level. Up for 5 or 6 rounds, he was looking fantastic. You know, I had him winning on the card up until I think round 6. He needed to, you know, he needed to relax. He needed to go for a walk. I was very unhappy with the way that he took a knee, took a shot to the face of the eye. Obviously, it's painful. As Bowers said, it's the hurt game. And I never like seeing a fighter take a knee. It's just, I'm sure Carl's the same. I'd rather get knocked spark out sometimes.
What was your interpretation of the finish, Carl?
I think that we all like Dubois. He's a likeable guy, but if it's someone we didn't like, we say it's a quit. And I think he quit there. I have to be brutally honest. Let's call a spade a spade. He took a knee from a shot in the eyes. I was a mess, as I was closed, but I get dragged out of the ring. I wouldn't take a knee.
Was it the case that Joyce just broke his heart more than damaged the eye?
I think so. I don't know. I had Dubois point up at the time of the stoppage. It was a close fight. You know, you have to call it what it is. Dubois quit, but he's a young kid and he can still come back. And Joe can hopefully now go on and fight for a world title.
What a win for him.
It's a beautiful win and puts him in a great position, you know, with the Usyk, WBO situation, knocking on the... If there's anybody ready in British boxing for a world title shot after a performance like that, you know, it's Joe Joyce. He did what he said he was going to do, took hard fights, Mains to Vern, Jennings, all the fighters nobody else wanted to fight. He was willing to do it. In his first fight, he did a 10-rounder against Ian Lewison. That was, you know, Ian Lewison is a dangerous guy, particularly for your first fight. So the conditioning, the tough fights that Joyce had, is because he's 35 years of age and now he's ready for that shot.
He done it the right way, Joe did, and there was no preparation from Dubois for a Joyce fight to get him ready for it, and he just was found out at that level.
Early rounds we saw that, didn't we? The way Joe took the centre of the ring, particularly, and asked questions of Daniel Dubois he's not been asked before.
Yeah, after the first round, I thought that it's going to be a hard night for Dubois, but do you know what? Credit to him, he came back into the fight. I was so surprised. His eye was closed from about round 5 or 6, and to take a knee, it was a... I don't think he's going to live to regret that.
I saw Dubois learning throughout the fight. From round 3, 4, and 5, I saw him start to learn. I saw him to adapt his punches, he started to loosen off. But it's hard to learn in a fight against someone who just continuously comes at you.
And who never panics if it's going the other way for a while.
Joyce has been hurt before, he's been hit before, but he's confident in his recovery skills. You know, he's confident in what he does, and you know, the right fighter won tonight, because you know Dubois, you know, he wouldn't be ready to beat someone like Alexander Usyk, you know, which is what they're looking at potentially next. I don't think he's technically ready yet. Give it 3 years, give it 4 years for sure.
That long, you know? David, on what you've seen tonight?
After taking a knee like that, it's going to take a little while to build your confidence back, build the fans' confidence. You're going to need another probably 5 or 6, 7 fights before you start really looking at some big names.
Even though he's had so many good moments in this fight tonight.
Yeah, he
Dubois.
did, but the knee, it's spoiled it all for me, and I think he's going to have to, you know, he's going to have to, not man up here, but he's going to face a lot of criticism, and he's going to have to take it, and he's going to have to go back to the drawing board, and he's going to have to move on, but he's young enough to do all that, and he can come back.
He's going to need to fight someone who puts him in the same situation, hurt him, cut him, close his eye, and find a way to win. You know, we've had our fights, our European title fights like this. You know, against Fragomeni, I was cut, I was hurt, I was down on points, but you come back, you learn. But I didn't in my 10th fight. You know, my 11th fight against Carl Thompson, I didn't have the good stuff. I ran out of steam. I came back, it took a few years, but it took 3.5 years later, I'm world champion. So I'm not saying it's over for him. I'm saying he's got a little bit of work to do. This was a great yardstick. This lets us know where he was at. He wasn't good enough to get to the final bell against Joyce.
More in a minute, David, and from you, Carl. Down to Steve.
Thanks very much indeed, fellas. Joe, I know you won, but I've got to ask Daniel about the ending. What happened, Daniel, in that 10th round? What happened 30 seconds in?
You know, it was, what can I say? He caught me with a good jab, and his jab was pretty accurate. And, you know, I couldn't see out of the eye, and I didn't want, you know, it just happens, man. I can't explain it. It was just, you know, at the moment, and just pinged it, and, you know, I couldn't see out of it. I was trying my best, and, you know, it happened.
And Joe, what did you think when you saw Daniel back away, touch the eye and take the knee? What thought went through your head?
Well, I was glad it was over.
The both of you, and I've got to congratulate you, because I mean, people will be at home now and they'll be applauding, they'll be watching it back. You've taken part in something incredibly special here tonight. Daniel, you got caught with the very first punch of the fight, a big jab after 5 or 6 seconds, and I saw your body go then. Was that the hardest you've been hit, do you think?
I've been hit hard, you know, but it was position maybe, you know, on the eye, and just the way it hit me. But, you know, I'm a tough guy, I'll come again for sure.
And Joe, you had to come through an incredible amount of pressure. The sort of punches that have left men, you know, flashed all over the canvas. You took them. Were you ever in danger? Were you ever hurt?
No, I've taken some big shots, and respect to Daniel, he's got some power, and he's young, he's fresh, and he's hungry, and he could come again. But I've felt power like that before, and with my experience, I've learned to ride it and come back, and I'm blessed with a good tin, so I can keep going and keep moving forward. And I was kind of, you know, I felt his power, and I was happy to take it, if you know what I mean.
I do.
But preferably not take it.
That's the Joyce's, and that's the way you do your business. Daniel, going into the 10th round now, okay, most people seem to have it like this. One judge had you, one judge had Joe, another judge was really tight. How did you have it, Dan? As you got up for the 10th round, your eyes closed, how did you have it?
I didn't know, honestly. I didn't know. I was just fighting. Trying to figure out a way I can break him down and get inside and, you know, let my shots work. But
were you surprised at some of the punches he took? I know Joe says he's got a good chin, but you caught him flush, perfect shots. Round 3, round 6, round 7.
No, he rode the punches well. I was probably a bit trigger happy, but, you know, I need to be smarter and just, you know, pace myself maybe a bit more. It is what it is, though. Joe won.
And Joe, it was just a jab. You didn't go chasing him with the right hand or looking for left hooks. You just threw the jab, turned your shoulder, moved away, and avoided him. It was a simple tactic in the end. A good tactic, but a simple one.
Yeah, I felt it landed, and I was mixing it up. And
one second, Joe. Yeah, Dan, you can go. Sorry, Martin. Yeah, go and get your eyes seen too. I appreciate it. Frank, can I pull you in? Is that possible? Yeah. Sorry about that, Frank. I've got to interview him, but I don't like doing it when the kids got to.
You interview when you win,
and you interview when you lose. So Joe, it was the jab was just working non-stop. And could you sense that in the very first round that the jab was starting to get to him, starting to hurt him?
Yeah, I started looking at that eye, and it was starting to swell up as well. And I felt quite comfortable landing it, and I was moving away from his right hands and trying not to get too close, because if I get close, that's when he's going to let them go. And try not to get backed up on the ropes also, because that's when he lets them go, and I don't want to get hit with any when he lets them go, you know what I mean?
Because they do come across.
Yeah.
Frank, it was a brilliant 9 rounds and then a bizarre 36 seconds. At what point in the fight did you think that Daniel could lose, or were you convinced even going into the 10th that he could still win the fight?
The eye was obviously a massive problem. It was, I mean, you just seen it. You couldn't see out of it. It was what it was. So he was in trouble. Joe, dumb. I said at the beginning of the fight, it's going to be about who gets the jab off. It's a battle of the jabs. Who's ever got the better jab, they're going to control the fight. And you know, it was. I thought it was pretty even, the fight. There was nothing in it. But at the end of the day, couldn't see out the eye, and Joe did what he had to do. He's strong, he's smart, and he come for it.
Now you spoke in private to Daniel there. What did he mention to you? Because it looked to me that he was in terrible pain when he went down.
He said he got something, I don't know, like felt like it was a nerve or something. He said it shot for him, and that was what it was.
Yeah, and that's what it looked like. So we've got to throw it forward. Where does Big Joe go now?
Well, he's in the driving seat, isn't he? That's where he goes now, and he goes for a big 2021.
Usyk, I'm ready for you, Usyk.
A rematch with Alexander Usyk. It's taking time to sink in here. I mean, people were quite stunned, not just at how well you boxed, Joe, but at the ending when he went down. Were you a bit shocked when Daniel backed away and went down on his knee?
Yeah, I couldn't see quite what happened. He's obviously in a lot of pain to have done that. It wasn't like it was. I don't mean with the greatest respect. It wasn't like a shot knocked him down. You know, he suddenly it clipped him with a jab, and obviously that done something to the eye.
And Frank, with Daniel, I know I should be asking this question next week or in 2 weeks' time, and because his eyes like that, he'll be at the hospital being examined. But thinking fast forward in your head, which you do, 1 or 2 fights back?
Of course he's got to have. Of course he's, you know, if he wants to carry on, of course he's got to, and he will carry on. He's a young man. I mean, Joe, what was you doing at his age?
I just about started boxing. I was still at uni.
There you go.
So
and you think, and Anthony Joshua at his age wasn't even a pro. So it's something he'll learn from. But obviously, you know, your handicap is what it is. But listen, if you never had the eye, I'm sure Joe's not complaining about it. But the eye, who knows how it would have ended? It was getting very interesting, the fight, wasn't it? But it is what it is. You know, prime example is David Hay.
Yeah.
You know,
David's
Carl
mentioned
Thompson.
that already.
What happened with him? He came back and won a title. Bradus Prescott. We all thought he'd finished Amir Khan completely. He came back. This happened to numerous fights. Now it's the sign of what you are.
Yeah.
You know, what you're all about, to come back. Can you come back? I would think he can, but we'll see.
And the public will want to see him come back, and they'll want to see him tested after that.
I'll tell you what would be great is a rematch.
Joe is talking a rematch.
With all the crowd there. I mean, can you imagine if the crowd had been there tonight? It would have been jumping the place, wouldn't it?
Much more fun.
And it would have been a much.
It would have been much more fun. Joe, thank you very much. Congratulations. Frank, thanks very much. Thanks so much for persevering with a fight that we thought had to be dead in the water. You just kept on bringing it back.
Well, it's there and we've done it. Well, you done it.
Yeah.
Well done.
You certainly did.
Man.
Joe, Joyce, Frank Warren, Daniel Dubois. Well, that's it, Paul. That's the story of the fight.
And it was worth all the effort that so many have. Both of you have been